Part 4.45. The Women in Nisa. Assalamu alaikum. We'll come back to Sufi essence with Hammad Syed, the divine principles of equity and the sovereignty of Allah. We continue our profound journey through Surah An-Nisa, the women, delving into a powerful block of verses that provide a comprehensive and nuanced understanding of social ethics and divine justice. Following the guidance on marital harmony and the rights of the vulnerable, these verses shift our focus to the inherent complexities of human relationships and the ultimate, encompassing sovereignty of Allah. This section offers profound insights into the psychological and spiritual challenges of equity, provides a compassionate framework for difficult life transitions, and culminates in a powerful theological declaration of Allah's complete independence from His creation. Together, these verses serve as a masterclass in Islamic jurisprudence and theology, revealing that all human affairs, from the most intimate of relationships to the grand sweep of history, are subject to a divine wisdom that is both just and merciful. They challenge the believer to transcend the limitations of the human ego and to find peace in complete reliance on the Creator and Sustainer of all things. And you will not be able to do justice between wives, even if you try with all your might. So do not incline completely, leaving her hanging. But if you reconcile and are pious, then indeed Allah is ever forgiving, merciful. Kanzul Iman, Quran, the women, 4-129. And if they separate, Allah will enrich each of them from His abundance. And Allah is ever all-encompassing, all-wise. Quran, the women, 4-130. And to Allah belongs whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on the earth. And we have already commanded those who were given the book before you and also you, to fear Allah. But if you disbelieve, then to Allah belongs whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on the earth. And Allah is all-sufficient, all-praiseworthy. Kanzul Iman, Quran, the women, 4-131. And to Allah belongs whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on the earth, and Allah is a sufficient guardian. Quran, the women, Quran, the women, 4-132. If He wills, He could do away with you, O people, and bring others in your place. And Allah is ever all-powerful to do that. Kanzul Iman, Quran, the women, 4-133. This set of verses offers an extraordinarily deep and sensitive look into the dynamics of human relationships and the overarching sovereignty of Allah. Verse 4. 2-129 is a profound and revolutionary statement on the complexities of polygamy. It acknowledges the inherent human inability to achieve absolute, perfect emotional justice between wives, no matter how hard one tries. The verse distinguishes between an impossible emotional state and the ethical obligation of equitable treatment. It forbids a husband from completely neglecting one wife, leaving her hanging in a state of uncertainty. This is a direct injunction against emotional cruelty and a testament to the Quran's deep psychological insight into human nature. The solution offered is reconciliation with a promise of forgiveness for the sincere. This reveals that the human quest for perfection and justice is less important than the sincere striving to do one's best and to seek Allah's forgiveness for shortcomings. The following verses for 130-132 then provide a framework for a more difficult but sometimes necessary transition, separation. The promise that Allah will enrich each of them from His abundance is a powerful message of divine mercy and a call for absolute reliance on Allah during times of hardship. It teaches that even in the most painful human circumstances, the door of divine provision is open. This is followed by a repeated and powerful declaration of Allah's complete ownership and sufficiency over all creation. These verses ground the earlier legal and ethical injunctions in a supreme theological reality, reminding the believer that Allah is the ultimate source of all sustenance, and His command to fear Allah, 4-131, is the universal message sent to all nations. The concluding verse 4-133 is a direct, blunt, and awe-inspiring statement of divine power. It is not a threat, but a profound theological reality check, reminding humanity that its existence is not a right but a gift. The fact that Allah can replace humanity with another creation if He wills highlights His absolute independence and shows that His guidance is a mercy to us, not a need for Him. These verses in sequence masterfully move from the intimate details of a marital relationship to the grandest statement of divine sovereignty, providing both practical guidance and a profound theological foundation for life. Sufi perspective. From a Sufi perspective, this block of verses is a powerful guide to spiritual states and the journey of the nafs ego. The inability to achieve perfect emotional justice in verse 4 to 129, seen as a profound teaching on the nature of the lower self. The Sufi understands that the ego is inherently inclined towards preferences and desires. And this verse is a reminder that perfect justice is a divine attribute, not a human one. The struggle to be just is a form of spiritual striving, a jihad against the nafs. The verses on separation and divine sufficiency, 4 to 130 to 132, are central to the Sufi concept of tawakkul, absolute reliance on Allah. The Sufi sees every trial, including the pain of separation, as a test of their trust in Allah's bounty. The verses remind the Sufi that true reliance is only on Allah, the owner of all things. It is a teaching on finding peace in the unknown, in knowing that Allah's plan is always for the best. This block of verses culminates in a powerful lesson on fana, annihilation of the self, and baqa subsistence in Allah. The statement in verse 4 to 133 that Allah can replace humanity is a profound lesson in humility. The Sufi understands that their existence is a divine gift and that they have no intrinsic claim on it. The knowledge that Allah can do away with and replace His creation is a powerful tool for dissolving the ego, which mistakenly believes it is central to the universe. This understanding leads to a state of complete awe and surrender, where the Sufi finds their identity and purpose not in themselves, but in their utter dependence on the divine. The Ziya-ul-Quran interpretation. The scholarly commentary in Ziya-ul-Quran by Pir Muhammad Karim Shah. Al-Azhari provides a masterful synthesis of legal and ethical interpretations for these verses. He highlights the profound spiritual and legal wisdom of verse 4 to 129, explaining that it is a compassionate and realistic injunction for polygamous marriages. He argues that this verse acknowledges a psychological reality while setting a strict ethical boundary against emotional cruelty. Pir Muhammad Karim Shah Al-Azhari meticulously analyzes verses 4 to 130 to 132, stressing their importance as a legal and social framework for divorce. He emphasizes that the verses provide not just permission to separate, but a positive spiritual framework for it, reassuring the separating parties of Allah's all-encompassing bounty. He sees the repeated statements of Allah's ownership as the ultimate legal basis for all human affairs, from marriage and divorce to inheritance and contracts. He explains that these verses ground all human interactions in the supreme reality of divine sovereignty. His commentary on verse 4 to 133 is particularly powerful, where he interprets the phrase, "If he wills, he could do away with you," as a theological principle of divine power rather than a threat. He argues that this statement is a profound reminder to humanity of its subordinate role in the universe and a clear refutation of any notion of spiritual arrogance or self-sufficiency. He concludes his analysis by emphasizing that these verses, taken together, provide a comprehensive and timeless legal and ethical framework for the Islamic community, all grounded in the supreme and absolute power of Allah. Hadith. The Prophet, peace be upon him, taught, "The most beloved of deeds to Allah are those that are continuous, even if they are few." Sahih al-Bukhari, Hadith number 6464. This hadith provides a spiritual context for the striving mentioned in verse 4 to 129. It teaches that the sincerity of the continuous effort to be just is more beloved to Allah than a temporary and unsustainable state of perfection. It provides a compassionate framework for human fallibility, redirecting the focus from a state of perfection to a state of continuous striving. Another relevant hadith highlights the spiritual rewards of reliance on Allah. The Prophet, peace be upon him, taught, "If you were to rely on Allah with the reliance due to Him, He would provide for you just as He provides for the birds. They go out in the morning with empty stomachs and return in the evening with full stomachs." Sunan at-Tirmidhi Hadith, number 2344. This hadith beautifully illustrates the promise of divine abundance in verse 4 to 130. It teaches that true reliance on Allah is the ultimate source of provision and security, a powerful message for those facing the uncertainty of separation. And with this profound exploration of divine wisdom, our journey through this section of the Quran concludes for today. May this spiritual guidance illuminate our hearts and minds, filling them with the light of faith and understanding. And may Allah grant us the wisdom to live by the truths revealed in His sacred book, applying its teachings to every aspect of our lives. May He accept our sincere efforts and forgive our shortcomings, showering His blessings upon us, our families, and our communities. May He guide us on the straight path and grant us a noble end, and may His peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you all. May our hearts remain steadfast in His remembrance, and may our lives be a testament to His love and mercy. May we always strive to be among those who are active in His way, sacrificing our comfort for His pleasure. May our knowledge be a source of benefit for ourselves and for all of humanity. May Allah elevate our spiritual ranks and grant us a place in the highest of heavens. And may we be counted among His blessed servants forever in His grace.